You're Perp back with another video, and Heels Season 2 just wrapped up. This is just going to be my brief take on the season, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, just giving you my overall perspective on the season, and yeah. Now, getting into it, this season definitely started off a bit shaky and a bit slow, like picking up where season 1 left off with Ace and Jack kind of like, being fed up with one another, mostly Ace's character. And that whole storyline really didn't last more than 2 episodes. And then Jack and Ace kind of make up. And I was like, where is this really going? I was still kind of stuck. I stuck with it, but that was definitely some of the weaker aspects to this season, is the very first couple of episodes. But then things get really interesting as Gully decides to press Jack a little bit and really put the pressure on him by saying, hey, we're going to do this cross promotion thing, and if you don't do this, I will sue you to the high heavens and take everything that belongs to you. And I thought that that was really a dope way to kind of set up the stakes for this season, while also giving us a bit more of Tom, and even seeing a flashback of seeing a younger Tom and Wild Bill and everybody. And it got to make me, it made me think, are they going to make a prequel series? Because I would be so down for that, to see a younger version of Tom and everybody at that point where the DWL was at its, kind of peak before Tom offed himself. And we got a lot more explanation on why he did that, and he felt a lot of pressure. And on top of that, the business was just struggling financially, so it's a combination of a lot of different things, and even dealing with Jack's relationship with his father and seeing why he has so much resentment for his father, but also misses him and doesn't understand why he is feeling the way that he's feeling, compared to somebody like Ace, where Ace was kind of looked at as the golden boy, the golden child. And I really liked how they kind of fleshed that out and explained more about that. So then the whole season kind of is building up to this clash between Gully's wrestling league and Jack's wrestling league, and everything that happens in between it, with stuff like Crystal, them trying to kind of do a little bit more with her character, which Crystal really is still one of my favorite characters and still has one of the stronger storylines consistently. I like that she's dealing with pretty much being the star at the DWL, on top of her relationship with Bobby Pins. And you can clearly see that Bobby is kind of he feels like there's something that's going to drift them apart in the future. For right now, they're kind of working things out, and he's just happy that she's able to find all this success. But there's going to be something up with Bobby where, because of what Ace did in the previous season, fucked up his leg, and it might cost him his career. We're going to have to wait to see how that plays out in the next season. But I like what they did with Crystal this season. And going back to Ace for a moment, because Ace definitely takes a 180, where even though the whole first 2 episodes, they could have kind of done more with that, or just completely scrapped that, but it made him kind of reflect on his own kind of life and what's his purpose, and him completely going through a whole rebrand and becoming the Condemned and dyeing his hair and wanting to just do more in life, which I really liked his arc Not at the beginning, but towards the end, it was really dope that he was able to rebrand and recapture the fandom once again, which is really dope. And like I said, going back to Jack, and Jack, it plays a huge... This season is really about Jack, I would say, as a whole. Seeing just his relationship with his father and his mother, getting those flashbacks is really dope because it makes sense for why Jack is the way he is now. And he's trying to not become like his father, but, you know, he wants to be able to carry on his father's legacy without it having to, you know, fall apart, which I think it is going to start to crumble as Gully is starting to now put pressure on Jack with this whole cross-promotion thing, and he has to kind of follow within the lines of what Gully wants. And what he pretty much wants is, at the end of this promotion, his league to be at the top and the DWL to be pretty much buried. And Gully plays an amazing villain throughout this whole entire series, because while Jack is kind of stressed out about certain things and very emotional, him and the company is kind of all over the place. He takes advantage of that by using people like Rooster that flipped on him, or even people that are still with the DWL, like Crystal wanting to bring her on board, and also Willie. That we find a lot of information with Willie that she is not as loyal to the Spades, or her loyalty is definitely dwindling, and she's ready to kind of move on for bigger things, more selfish reasons. And I love that whole scene with her husband kind of calling her out on her bullshit and actually considering taking the money from Gully, but Crystal kind of wanting to do her own thing and not really decide to go over to Gully. Fantastic stuff with Willie's character. But also another character that gets a lot of progression is Wild Bill. Wild Bill is just trying to be a little bit more mature, be that like uncle to like Jack, and try to not tell him what to do, but kind of direct him in a better way. And you know what I'm saying, he ends up being a very dope character, and I see a lot of growth in his story arc in this season 2 compared to how he was in the first season, where he's really starting to love this stuff even more, and he doesn't see himself doing anything else. And I like how they also display how it is being his age still wrestling, and we see people that used to wrestle are kind of retired, and they kind of left that behind, where Bill is still content on proving himself even at his older age. And I think it's going to take a toll on him. And just how this whole season came about. Oh yeah, Stacy also has an interesting arc here. You know, I could see some people not really enjoying her arc, but I think it's going to be important for future seasons, where she finds out by Willie that the DWL has always been kind of doing shady stuff behind the scenes to stay afloat business-wise. And that's not going to be good, because Gully is definitely going to try to look into that. A lot of foreshadowing of just Jack and everything that he's built is going to start to crumble. And the DWL is definitely in some dark days, and I'm curious to see how all that stuff is going to get revealed. But the finale to this was so well built up. I was just like, man, they did a great job with the whole cross promotion. And then Jack saying, you know what, we're not going to take this dive, and wanting Ace to win, but at the cost of him not being able to walk again, possibly, because he did this crazy ass move that he probably shouldn't have done, and it cost him probably his mobility. Overall, I thought this was a very solid season overall. Started off slow with the first like 2 or 3 episodes, but then kind of brought it home at the end. I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to get a season 3 and how that's all going to play out, because it's definitely going to be interesting to see Gully's response to all of this and Jack pretty much taking the win for the DWL and letting Ace have that moment. I also hope that they keep Crystal as a heel. She is perfect as a heel. You see it in this finale. You know, her whole storyline of her flip-flopping from the Gully's Wrestling League to the DWL and stuff like that. So I can't wait to see what they do next and what new characters are going to pop up. But if you have seen season 2, let me know your thoughts. What are some of your favorite moments? One of your worst moments? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out.